Welcome to the episode of Love and Reality Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, our friends from season 4 of Love is Blind are back with Love is Blind After the Altar. We had a 3 episodes drop, and I'm here to break down each episode and just my running thoughts of everything that kind of went down. I had and watching this, it brings back a lot of like memories of kind of what happened, some of these characters that we kind of grew to love or grew to hate. We have a football game, obviously, that we're well aware about. But I'll tell you what, the episode kind of kicks off with us not very surprised with the king and queen of Love is Blind, and that is Tiffany and Brett. After the wedding, they both moved to Portland, which he thanked her for, Tiffany, for the sacrifice. We see Brett do a hilarious, hilarious impression of Zach. That's incredible and spot on. It was just so good. It was so good. And there's something about it's something crazy to me that and even in person, like when you meet Brett, he has this personality that is so funny that it doesn't always come off and translate onto the screen, but he's a very, very funny guy. The Odd Couple are back, and the Odd Couple, I'm talking about Zach and Bliss. Zach is as weird as ever, and that's his personality. I'm not knocking him for it. That's perfectly fine. They built this entire scene, edited it together to make it look like they're going to visit a doctor and it could potentially be for a baby, and instead it's Zach getting these allergy shots for Bliss's animals as they're trying to get him weaned in so that he doesn't have all of these reactions to her animals moving in, because she's been struggling without her animals and he's like deathly allergic, I guess, but he's been getting shots in order to attempt to get back on track. Chelsea and Kwame are joined by Zach and Bliss at the Mariner Stadium. We kind of saw this all over social media. They live within like 7 miles of each other, so they share hotel rooms when they travel. Chelsea is throwing out the first pitch, which it kind of looked weird because like Kwame was kind of jealous that Chelsea was the one throwing out the first pitch. It was kind of funny. I don't know. It's weird. Talk about weird. This entire 3-episode dynamic of Micah and Paul is crazy to me. Micah has arrived. She's sitting down with Paul's mom. They talk every day. Very sweet. Very, very sweet. She says she feels validated in the love that she had with Paul. Micah talks about not wanting to cause friction between Paul and his mom. She asks how are her and Paul, his mom did. And she talks about the hurt of not seeing her like, like a mother. That really kind of hurt her. She says that they're both healing. His mom tells her that Paul is talking to someone else, and that kind of hurt Micah, which will be interesting as we transition throughout this episode and talk about this and how weird it kind of was a dynamic here, and wonder why it hurt Micah as much as it did. My favorite couple that didn't get engaged or married on the show, Jack and Josh, have entered the picture. The two are chatting it up as they are getting a new place together. I love these two. I love that she acknowledges the amount of haters that she has, and a lot of it's undeserving. You know what I mean? She knows some of the things that she did, of why she got the hate that she did, but let's be real. You know what I mean? Let's be real at the same time. Jackie and Josh are unstoppable force that we love. Paul's talking to his mom about his new girlfriend, saying she was adventurous. She loved cooking. He said he still has love for Micah, but wants to be able to move on. Apparently Micah and Paul dated a little while post show, but Micah called it a quits, and then she moved back into town. She's moved back into Seattle and wants to date, but Paul has kind of moved on. His mom kind of grills his ass about whether or not he would have said yes at the altar or not. I think it's hilarious that his mom is like super biased and wants his ass with Micah. I do think the thing about it is there is a strong dynamic between those two. It's just like one of those right person, wrong time scenarios, I think, with these two. There's definitely a lot of love, and you see that. All 3 couples that got married are celebrating their 1 year. I still think, just by watching, that Chelsea annoys the hell out of Kwame. It's just a gut feeling, the way he reacts, the way he looks. It's just kind of funny. Apparently, Zach sings daily to Bliss. And he says that it's 1 to 2 hour serenade sessions. I'm going to be honest with you. I would probably, there's so many things in life that I could deal with. Zach serenading me for 1 to 2 hours, I wouldn't do that unless I'm getting paid a lot of money. And even then, I would probably kill myself. Chelsea talks about the sacrifice Kwame has made for them with her work. He's been wanting to travel and he hasn't been able to travel. He's a very adventurous person. And with her job, she hasn't been able to. She gets a little emotional. I do think that this was a somber side that we saw. It's interesting to see these people these couples, even on reality TV, tackle the core things that are really hindering their relationships and actually talking about it and being vocal about it. Zach brings up a real life football game. Brett jokes about Jackie covering Marshall, which was hilarious. They talk about some might be hindered by it, but some that might not get past the pass, and to do it together. Episode 2 kicks off with Marshall and his girlfriend Shay. He takes them to meet Brett and Tiffany, or Brittany, Brittany. I like Brittany. They've been together for a year now, and he says opposites do attract and they mesh well together. They play a game. I love Brittany and Tiff. I love them. I love their dynamic. Brett and Marshall talk. Marshall said he wants to spend the rest of his life with her. Brett, of course, is happy for him. Marshall said Jackie and Shay are two different people. Brett brings the football game up. Marshall asks if Jackie and Josh are going to be there. Of course they are. Duh. Micah and her friend Shelby are at the market. They meet up with Irina. Irina talks that she isn't dating anyone right now. She said she's moving around a lot and trying to get into a healthy place. Good for her. Another person gets a lot of hate. Some of it might be deserved, but allow these people the opportunity to grow. You know what I mean? The person you saw on the show might not be the same person she is now, or the person you might not have liked on the show. Allow these people to grow. These are people at the end of the day. Irina, and then of course she talks about Micah talks about how she's seeing Paul and they've had constant conversations, and to hear that he is seeing someone that it's frustrating to her and it's kind of rude to her and his girlfriend. Where's the lies? I really don't understand. I don't. If he's still talking to her, like what is Paul's girlfriend going to do in this dynamic here? Hopefully she knows that these two have been talking while he was dating still. It's weird. Let's see here. Jackie and Casey. We're gonna go Casey here. They talk about Marshall, and then Casey brings out Marshall is blocked, and they both laugh their ass off about it. She said he would apologize every single month, and they both joke about how he's always on his apology tour. #facts. Marshall's a guy I like, Marshall, but same time, I don't know, man. The way he's come off after the show is just not something my cup of tea. But here comes the ring conversation. We get a splice in of the ring, which then Casey talks about the reunion and how Marshall said it was one date. She said he tried to spin it like he didn't do what Josh. She said he tried to spin it to make it look like he didn't do what Josh and Jackie did. Right? She said if they would have chosen. She said if I would have. She said he said if I would have chosen you, we would have gotten married. Like, that's my problem here. Is Marshall tried to do exactly what Josh and Jackie did, but doesn't get nearly any of the hate that they do. Makes no sense to me. Jackie brings up Josh's broccoli ears for the 100th time, and it's hilarious, and it's just a theme throughout each episode. Bliss is shopping with Amber. She talks about what might have been with if Paul chose her. We get a flashback of her and Paul talking in the pod. Bliss and Zach are going to England for a 2-week vacation. Kwame and Chelsea head to her family's house. Kwame's brothers and sisters are there. Kwame and Chelsea's sisters have a special relationship. I love that so much. We get a funny montage of the best couple on the show that didn't get engaged or married. Jackie and Josh are moving into their place together. The dynamic between these two, like I would watch a reality show with just these two, right? They were talking about moving in. All she brought was Christmas boxes over to move in. And then he turns around and jokes about having a built-in stripper pole. Josh talks about wanting to take things a little bit slow. And then we have Brett, who's building the roster for the game. We got Brett, Tiffany, Jackie, Josh, Paul, Micah, JP, Amber, and Nick on one team. They ask about who knows more about football. Tiffany steps up and says she knows more. However, she brings up he is good. She asked him if he's good at throwing a football, and he just has this uncomfortable look on his face. And he said he doesn't care about winning, which then kind of makes the old wifey mad, which is hilarious because Tiffany seems very, 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 very competitive. Brett said he's worried about Jackie, Josh, and Marshall thing. Tiffany says rightfully so. She doesn't see why there should be any conflict, followed by what's up with Micah and Paul. The thing about it Tiffany rightfully says she doesn't see why there should be any conflict between them because it's been so long, and follows up with Micah and Paul. It's game day. Gold Cup Bowl is what we're calling it. Brett, Tiffany, Jackie, Josh, Paul, Micah, JP, Amber, and Nick on one team. Zach, Bliss, Marshall, Kwame, Chelsea, Shelby, Micah, and I'm sure there's people I missed. Zach said if someone accidentally tackles her, he's gonna get mad. Like, what the fuck are you gonna do, Zach? Like, what are you gonna do? Serenade him? Like, bro. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I would get mad too, but like, what are you gonna do? Like, what exactly is Zach gonna do to anybody? Other than probably stuff them in their basement, but that's beside the point. All right, Marshall and Paul have arrived. We get a whole razzle dazzle of everybody arriving. Brett says he wants it to be 5-on-5. Zach is trying to make it 3-on-3. The whole entire thing is kind of a shit show. Of course, we get it all dramatic to let Jackie and Josh be the last one to arrive, which is all dramatic. Oh my God, music, music, music. Paul greets them, which I knew I liked Paul because of that. Those edits were so dramatic for no reason, literally for no reason. Episode 3 kicks off with Zach singing, which I wish somebody would just tackle him and make it stop. Josh said he's ready to win. I love that, man. Brett can't throw for shit, which was pretty embarrassing. Marshall scores on a fumble 6. Shelby and Micah are making moves. Chelsea throws Micah's flag on the ground. We knew she was excited about that. Amber's talking up Paul about moving to San Diego. Paul said it's been an emotional journey. This is single-handedly one of the worst flag football games I've ever seen in my entire life. Zach is happy Irina and Bliss are getting along. Tiffany scored a touchdown from this is hands down the best play. We didn't even get a good, perfect view of it. A incredible pass from Jackie to Tiffany for a touchdown. Incredible. Like it was a bomb. And we didn't get enough of it. Chelsea cheered on, and Kwame yelled at her because they're on the opposing team. Micah and Chelsea talk. Chelsea said her person isn't here, and Chelsea said her person's in Brazil. That was a please don't live in Seattle. Micah said she looks up to her and loves her and appreciates her. Very sweet moment. Marshall to Kwame makes it 21-21. Micah calls out Paul sucking since Kwame burnt him. Pot Squad wins 28-21. That was literally by far the worst football game I've ever watched in my entire existence, and I've seen a lot of bad football games. Moving right along, Marshall and Jackie decided to chat. He apologized to her for forcing the relationship to be longer than it should have been. She said she doesn't have any hard feelings and apologized about the breakup. She said he deserves everything and more. So does she. She said she really did like him. The two share a hug. They tell each other how happy they are for each other. Perfect moment, right? Perfect moment. Irina says to Josh and Jackie that us villains must stick together. God, right? Fuck, I love Irina. They do a funny, everybody does a funny Marshall expression video, which is hilarious. Irina and Amber talk about what went down. She talked about being dismissive of her feelings, wanted to apologize. Amber said she doesn't care and isn't losing sleep, but accepts her apology. Whatever. This is all going down at a dinner here, like a dramatic dinner for no reason at all. Just let's throw all the people that hate each other in one show in one room and see what happens. Micah and Paul are chatting. Drama. She said that they were texting and talking. It's hard for her to know that he is dating someone else and didn't know that's where he is at. He said you can be in love with someone but not be with that person. However, she felt because of them being together, she said she loves him and isn't ready to be friends. She said they must cut ties, and Paul said it's fucking weird and sad. It is like that's I don't know. I like Paul. Big fan of Paul. It was just definitely interesting. I would love to hear more of a timeline aspect of things here and see how out of place that really was. Jackie said she doesn't like mint unless it's in toothpaste, which I don't remember why she said that, but it was funny. Casey tells Jackie that Monica is about to show up, and this is when shit hits the fan. Jackie said they have to go. She tells Jack that she's coming. Of course, Josh and Monica got engaged. Things have been weird ever since. Monica talks to Brett and Tiffany. She said she spoke up about their engagement and didn't want to talk, and he didn't want to talk about Josh. Jackie talked about it. It was messy, and it's been over a year. It's time to move on. Monica comes over to Jackie and said, "Let's chat." Monica tells her she's hurt. She loves her and was one of her best friends. She wants to know what happened and feels the tension. Jackie says her experience was validated. She tells her that the blogs were messy. I guess Monica had a tell-all conversation about her relationship with Josh. She talked in depth about some things. She kind of didn't run those things by Josh. Josh didn't want to talk about it, which it's fine for her to express how she feels, but don't start the drama and try to make things more about yourself because you didn't get that spotlight that everybody else did. You know what I'm saying? She says she doesn't care about Josh, wants to care about their friendship. Jackie says, "I love you and will always love you." She asked Jackie if she trusts her and said, why would you want to hurt her? She said, you never should have to choose between her best friend and Josh, which is true. Nobody should have to do that. As a friendship lasts forever. She says, "I don't want to lose you." Jackie brings Josh over. Monica said she didn't release anything to the blogs. Josh said he was cool with her posting the story. They talked over each other. He said she's clout chasing, which I mean, she was. The thing about it is you can sit here and say whatever you want. You weren't on the show. He didn't talk about it. We found out y'all were engaged. And then she just tries to go on these blogs and talk about it. And me. It's clout chasing. That's exactly what clout chasing is. That's the definition of clout chasing. She calls Josh a 6-year-old. Monica said Josh is a horrible human being. Jackie and Josh leave. Jackie said this is drama and she didn't want it. Jackie is out. Slay queen. I'm proud of you. Love you. Proud of your growth. Jackie said he came back inside. Chelsea kind of gave it back to him and said, don't accuse people of clout chasing. Can accuse something of something that really did happen. Then we get a little montage of all the cutesy couples talking about their love and relationship. It'll be interesting to see where all of these three couples are a year from now, rooting for Jackie and Josh, rooting for Brett and Tiffany. Kwame and Kelsey, I love their definitely different dynamic. And Zach, hopefully he stops singing to Bliss. That would be wonderful. And I hope nothing but the best for the rest of the crew. Love this. I really love this crew. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan. Jackie, Josh, Brett, Paul, Micah, Irina, Tiffany, big time fan of those people. Wish nothing but the best. Definitely did not need to be 3 episodes, but you know how it goes. You know, we got to make it drawn out, long, all these funky things. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know where you think you see these couples in a year. That's the biggest question I want to take away. Where do you see these couples in a year? Let me know what you think. Talk to you guys very, very soon. Love is Blind season 5 is right around the corner. I can't wait for that.